Okay, let's try this thing. Hello, beer nerds. Today we got another question. This one from Brennan. I want to force carbonate my homemade beer in a 2-liter pop bottle. Good idea. Using SodaStream canisters. I do not want to serve out of the 2-liter bottles and will simply carbonate, store, and open months later, and then serve by pouring straight out of the pop bottle. Or maybe even maybe chugging out of the bottle. I will obviously need a regulator, but what other pieces do I need? All right, that's a perfect question. Perfect question to answer in this forum. I don't know what a perfect question is. So that's kind of what we got this for. And this surprised me when I first started selling these, because I really just thought of this as a, in my mind, when I sold the Pro Tap kit, I wanted people to be able to convert it over to a fridge tap kit very easily. So I just put this together in a little package and a little sticker on, and I sell hundreds of these. And I don't know why. And the only thing I can think of is that people that buy their kits off Amazon are somehow looking for this. So, I mean, even this video here right now is probably going to drive sales. I mean, I just thought this was completely niche with the duo-type fittings. But I sell a lot of these. I've had to order thousands of these SodaStream adapters. So people are using SodaStream bottles to serve their beer in droves, it turns out. So let's get on top of this. Now, so you can, I've just got this here right now. In fact, you know what? I'm going to check my audio to make sure this is recording properly. Okay, the audio seems fine, and I grabbed a picnic tap here and some restriction hose, and we'll talk about that a little bit here at the same time. This isn't the exact one that comes with the pop tap kit, but same concept. Just that one is silicone hose. This is the one that's actually the picnic tap kit. Okay, so in terms of force carbonating, you don't want to do it with this. We'll put this to the side for now. Actually, you know what? We're going to put my mic up here like this, and we're going to open this on camera. That way. I'll get on my mic. Okay, so yeah, let's open this up. I mean, there's nothing here except to careful with these staples, eh? I don't know if I've ever opened one of these packages on my own before. I always just make them. Maybe I should be more careful where I put the staples. Okay, let's open this up. So, I mean, all it is 2 feet of the duotite or the EVA hose, and then I crimp an adapter on there. And the reason I do this is so that you can switch between portable mode and SodaStream mode very easily. There's all kinds of different ways to put different adapters into the regulator to go direct, or put a barb straight into the regulator. But the reason I do it this way is because this is the way you want to be doing it for serving portable, right? If you're going out camping, bring it on the boat, you want light, portable. But then if you're at home or trying to do what Brennan's doing here, force carbonation with this, that's when you need to convert your fridge tap kit into something that works with the SodaStream bottle. So when you unscrew this, this is what the kit's for. This is why this kit exists. Is that you remove this from here, and then you need to put something in between, and then you're going to replace this with the SodaStream bottle. So the way we do that is by putting the SodaStream adapter in here. You just finger tighten that. Feel it snug up against the washer inside there. And then we can spin that onto the bottom. Well, actually, before we do that, so you're replacing this with this, and that's why we use this adapter. So it's just easy to switch back and forth. So that's why we use this exact thread. And my experience, almost finger tightening that is enough. But we'll give it a little snug with a wrench here. Yeah, should be plenty. Okay, so then, and I took this off. Usually this comes assembled in the package, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is with these duo-type fittings to slide it on there. You can push it up, and then you'll feel it kind of wiggle past two teeth, and that's when you know it's on there. And what I like to do, I find with these, is you want to give them a little twist so it cuts in there, and pull, and then that way you're absolutely sure. We do sell little blue clips that go in here if you want to make absolutely 100% sure that that thing's not going to pop off of there. But personally, never had a problem. The only time I've had a problem is with the rigid pieces that we use. You got to absolutely make sure you cut it in there and give it a pull. But once you do that, I've never had one let go yet. Okay, so oh yeah, and so to pull it off too, I just tend to pull with my fingers. I just pull back on that collar, and you can kind of just wiggle it out there like that. Some of them are a little bit more stubborn. This one's going quite easily, but you can use like a thumb wrench and just kind of bring it down to the width of the hose, and then just that pops that off there super easy. So then you can spin that on here until you get it, I'll keep up on top of the camera here, finger tight, and then it just really needs, because some of these, I've had people split these off by over tightening them. There's an occasional dud. I mean, in thousands, I think there's been 2. So yeah, and then I turn it, and you can kind of just feel that's good and snug there. So I mean, what was that? Quarter turn, maybe almost a half. I guess it depends on what you consider finger tight. I've got big, strong fingers. So then, 1, 2. You can feel it go back, and that's why they call it a duo tight, because it's got the 2 bitey teeth. And then that's it. I mean, that's an assembled SodaStream conversion kit, as I call it. And then, oh, let me just try to get this in view here. So I'm doing this, you know, I tend to spin the bottle. You know, like to play spin the bottle. And with this on, you don't really have to worry about making sure this is all the way off counterclockwise, because this will stop the gas if it's functioning correctly, of course. And then, so you can hear it start to, I don't know if you got that on the mic there. I'm going to move the mic as I tighten this. It's just kind of in the way. And then we're going to, there we go. And so you got a tiny little bit of coming out. But if you do it quickly, you're going to get the tiniest little. And so then you do the classic. I've showed this in other videos. Give it some pressure, and then turn it off. And then if it's holding, you know that you don't have any leaks. So then you can press it with your finger, and then let off the pressure. And so then you're ready to go. You've got a SodaStream bottle ready to snap on. And then you can turn this on this hose any direction you need very easily. I mean, whatever angle. Let me get underneath the camera there. And there you go. Now, the interesting thing about forced carbonating. So now most people would use this, and they would snap on their picnic hose and use this system as a setup for serving in the fridge. And with the restriction line in there, the blue hose in a hose, and this is what that looks like. I'll hold it up to the camera here. Just kind of like that. You see. What that does is normally you would need to maintain your beer at 10 psi. You would need about 10 to 15 feet of hose inside your fridge coiled up to give you enough drag on the line to keep your beer from foaming. But with this, and I need to do a whole dedicated video to flow restriction. I promise that's coming. It involves whippersnipper wire and everything. So then you're ready to serve. You can crank that up to 10 and then just serve out of the fridge directly. And this works, of course, with the kegs. The 5-liter stainless steel kegs are the most popular. People want them single-walled for going in their fridge and then in their coolers. And they're cheaper than the double-walled by quite a bit, $20, $30. So yeah, but if for forced carbonating, you can kind of go either way. And I'm just using a bottle of water here that was sitting around for demo purposes. I mean, obviously this would be beer, but just for convenience here on my desk. And to be honest, here in Canada right now, with the wind chill, it's minus 36. So there's the cold side of the garage, and then there's my office here where I can be in a t-shirt. So we just got this bottle that was sitting here. Now, when you want to force carbonate, either soda water, kombucha, and in this case, homebrew, you want it cold as possible, always, for carbonation. So generally, you get your homebrew there, you got your 5, you cold crash it in the fridge, get the flocculation of all your yeast, and when you do your transfer, now, I mean, I would recommend doing a pressurized transfer, maybe into this bottle or several of these from whatever you're fermenting into, for pressurized transfer into a bunch of pop bottles with the pop tap kits, because you can buy it with just this separately for I think $20, and so you can do multiple bottles and just carbonate each one. Now, if he wants to, he could just buy multiples of these T-shaped caps, but he says he's not really worried about serving it without oxygen touching it. I mean, chug it straight out of the bottle. So I guess you could buy one pop tap kit with the SodaStream conversion. Actually, you don't really need, but you want the regulator. I think does he have a regulator already? Yeah, so I mean the main price of that kit is the regulator. So the silicone hose and tap, you're not paying a lot for that. So you might as well buy a pop tap kit with the SodaStream conversion, and then that'll give you everything here. So you could do it this way. I'm finally getting to the point, Brendan. This is the exact question you're asking. So you buy those 2 things, you snap this on. I'm going through the top here right now, because why not? We're not, because these caps, these yellow and orange, they don't matter. There's no gas or liquid with these. I just use the different colors, honestly, because it looks cooler that way. And to kind of remind people, I think the yellow is the beer coming up. So the only thing you need to remember is that you have this one attached to the dip tube, which can also have a flow restriction in it, so that you can crank that right up. For forced carbonating, you don't want the flow restriction in there. Pull that out of there, because you want to shoot as much carbonation in here as possible. So yeah, you could then crank this up to, well, whatever you want. Oh, there it goes. And now this is warm water, so this is not going to work very well, but you'll get the idea. And so now I hope we're getting this on camera. It's going to shoot down through that dip tube. You can see those bubbles forming there. And shake, 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 Snora. Shake it all the time. And yeah, there it goes. It's just carbonating it. So really, to do this correctly, you want this cold as possible. You want to shake it, put it in the fridge, and I would actually leave it overnight. Shake it some more, shake it throughout the day. And then, yeah, you should be good. Now, if you want to use the same cap over and over again on multiple pop bottles, cheapest way. I mean, if you're drinking it all that night, I totally agree. So here's what you got to do. I need to pause. I don't have a cap. Okay, so you got it forced carbonated, spent overnight in the fridge. You're going to have to decide that for yourself as you drink more of it, how much you want it carbonated. Personally, I think when you're doing beer, you want to do a hybrid where you put a little bit of priming sugar in there so you get natural carbonation. And what that'll do is it'll eat up any last little bit of oxygen that got in here while you were transferring it. Now, if you did a pressurized transfer, you might not have to worry about that so much. But if there was even the slightest bit, use the priming sugar. and do a hybrid. So you get it to do it carbonate that way, and then you speed up the process by doing forced carbonation like this. So then once you get that done, you pop that off and you can use it for multiples. And so then to use just the caps, what's the best way? Now this already has CO2 in here, and you could do kind of a purge thing where you and get any oxygen that's in there out, because the CO2 is going to push all that out. And then you could keep snapping on and off with the CO2 and do that while you're doing the forced carbonation throughout the evening. But at a certain point, you're going to have it up there. It's going to be sitting at 12 psi or whatever. I mean, it's going to absorb into it. So even if you get 25% psi sitting in this little area up here, it's going to eventually absorb in there and even out. And you're just going to have to go. You're going to have to go by taste, your own personal, how cold it is. Different people got their fridges set at different temperatures. So then you're going to have to do the dreaded expose it to a bit of oxygen. But if you got these caps in some star sand, spray it with a bottle. You take that off. You're going to have a blanket of CO2 sitting at the top here. And so just give your bottle a squeeze. You can see the CO2. Did you see that cloud of smoke? I hope it came across in the camera. And of course that will pop back out, no problem at all, because of the CO2 will start to come out of suspension. And if you got any priming sugar in there like I recommended, like I can probably even get that to go back just by what little it absorbed that time. And that's about it. So, I mean, if you even go right, so I didn't want to make a mess on my desk, but you can just get it to squirt up a little bit, tighten that on there. And I mean, that's pretty good. I don't think you're going to have much issues doing it that way. And I think that answers the question. That's the cheapest way. So you would need, the pop tap kit to get the regulator and the tea. You could buy multiple teas if you wanted to just serve it properly or transfer. But there you go. So we'll call that question answered, hopefully. And I got to get that video about forced carbonation or the flow restriction done. So keep the questions coming, and we'll see you soon.